Good evening. Welcome to this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show. My name is Leon Jones. Tonight's topic, we'll talk about the origins of Father's Day. Now, the nation's first Father's Day was celebrated on June 19th, 1910 in the state of Washington. However, it was not until 1972, 58 years later, after President Woodrow Wilson made Mother's Day an official holiday, that day honoring fathers became a nationwide holiday in the United States. Now, with any holiday, there's always some inspiration. And I want to tell you that Mother's Day inspired Father's Day. Now, the Mother's Day celebration that we have today has its origins in the peace and reconciliation campaigns of the post-Civil War era. During the 1860s, the urging activist Ann Reeves Jarvis, one divided West Virginia town, celebrated Mothers' Workdays that brought together the mothers of Confederate and Union soldiers. Now, when it comes to fathers, there are more than 70 million fathers in the United States. But going back to the predecessor of Father's Day, Mother's Day did not become a commercial holiday until 1908, when inspired by Jarvis's daughter, Anna Jarvis, who wanted to honor her own mother by making Mother's Day a national holiday. The John Wanamaker department store in Philadelphia sponsored a service dedicated to mothers in its auditorium. Thanks to a large part to the organization with retailers who saw a great potential for profit in the holiday, Mother's Day caught on right away. In 1909, 45 states observed the day, and in 1914, President Woodrow Wilson approved a resolution that made the second Sunday in May a holiday in honor of the tender, gentle army, the Mothers of America. Now, here's where Father's Day actually gets started. Because the campaign to celebrate the nation's fathers did not meet with the same enthusiasm, perhaps because, as one florist explained, fathers haven't the same sentimental appeal that mothers have. So on July 5th, 1908, a West Virginia church sponsored the nation's first event explicitly in honor of fathers, a Sunday sermon in memory of the 362 men who had died in the previous December's explosions at the Fairmont Coal Company mines in Monaga, but it was the first one-time celebration, not an actual holiday. Basically, it was a one-time commemoration, but it wasn't an annual holiday as of yet. The next year, a Spokane, Washington woman named Sonora Smart died. One of 6 children raised by a widower, tried to establish an official equivalent to Mother's Day for male parents. She went to local churches, the YMCA, shopkeepers, and government officials to drum up support for her idea, and she was successful. Washington State celebrated the nation's first statewide Father's Day on June 19th, 1910. Slowly, the holiday spread. Now, in 1916, President Wilson honored the day by using telegraph signals to unfurl a flag in Spokane, which he pressed a button in Washington, D.C. Now, in 1924, President Calvin Coolidge urged state governments to observe Father's Day. Today, the day honoring fathers is celebrated in the United States on the third Sunday. Now, this year in 2017, of course, Father's Day is on June 18th. In 2018, which is next year, Father's Day is going to be on June 17th. Now, in other countries, especially in Europe and Latin America, fathers are honored on St. Joseph's Day, which is a traditional Catholic holiday that falls on March 19th. Now, with Father's Day, there came some controversy and commercialism. Now, many men, however, continue to disdain the day. As one historian writes, they scoffed at the holiday's sentimental attempts to domesticate manliness with flowers and gift-giving, or they derided the proliferation of such holidays as a commercial gimmick to sell more products, often paid by the father himself. Now, during the 1920s and 1930s, a movement arose to scrap Mother's Day and Father's Day altogether in favor of a single holiday known as Parents' Day. Now, every year on Mother's Day, pro-parents day groups basically rallied in New York City's Central Park, a public reminder that said Parents' Day activist and radio performer Robert Spear that both parents should be loved and respected together. That's right. It was a public reminder by Parents' Day activist and radio performer Robert Spear. He believed that the holiday should be one single holiday known as Parents' Day. However, paradoxically, the Great Depression basically derailed this effort to combine and decommercialize the holidays. Struggling retailers and advertisers redoubled their efforts to make Father's Day a second Christmas for men, promoting goods such as neckties, hats, socks, pipes, tobacco, golf clubs, and other sporting goods and greeting cards. Now, when World War II began, advertisers began to argue that Father's Day was a way to honor American troops and support the war effort. By the end of the war, Father's Day may have not been a federal holiday, but it was a national institution. In 1972, in the middle of a hard-fought presidential re-election campaign, Richard Nixon signed a proclamation making Father's Day a federal holiday at last. Today, economists estimate that Americans spend more than $1 billion each year on Father's Day gifts. Now, as a father myself, looking at the holiday of Father's Day, although it was put into motion by a proclamation in 1972, it's only 45 years old, but there were supporters of Father's Day, of course, women. But let's talk about this for a moment, because I want to lay it out on the line. When you are a father is the one who is doing the work, providing and protecting not only his children, but his whole family. He's the leader, regardless of what the feminists have told you. Fathers are very important because they maintain and build infrastructure where mothers facilitate and administer the infrastructure. Because, again, when it comes to morality and values, a society can rise no higher than the morality of its women. But a society can't rise any higher without the building of the infrastructure by men. You see what's happening here? You have both parties who are very important in instituting a society for their children. But I want to put this out there. Last month, it was Mother's Day, and I said this to the men. You're not the mother and the father. And I'm going to say this to the women. You're not the mother and the father. You are a mother. Your day was last month. However, I can say technically Mother's Day is every day if you have the children. And same thing for fathers. But that Mother's Day and that Father's Day, and particularly today, Father's Day, is a day just for fathers to be commemorated for the job that they've done. Now, I know in today's politically correct culture and gynocentric society that you don't hear too much good about the fathers because of what's going on in this culture. However, there are a number of fathers who have stepped up in every community to take care of their children. Because in the long run, children will benefit with a mother and a father. Now, I'm just talking about the heterosexuals. I'm not talking about the homosexuals because I'm a traditionalist. But let's get into the homosexuals. if you're being good parents and your children are model citizens, then if two men are raising the children, say Happy Father's Day to you as well. Because being a father is a thankless job as well. You see, society has it in their minds that the mothers do everything. A mother's job is a thankless job as well. But if we go back to our traditional roots, where the mothers and the fathers had their roles, and I'm not saying the mother should be staying home and cooking and cleaning, that's up to her. But she is important in administering and facilitating the morals and values. And the father builds and maintains the morals and values. But this day is for men who are doing the work. Now, if you're a sperm donor, I'm sorry, you're not a father. Anybody can donate their sperm. It's the person who is there providing the financial support, the physical support, the teachings of how the real world works. That's being a father. There is no recipe to being a parent. But to raise a good child, it all starts from you as the man. Certainly, the mother has the child, but it takes two good parties to make sure that child grows up right. Now, there are circumstances when it comes to a death of a spouse where the mother or the father could be left to raise the child on their own, and of course, divorce. That's another aspect as well. But either way, today is the day to honor your father. And if your father is still living, make sure you give your father a call and tell him Happy Father's Day. Yes, it's 11 o'clock Central Time here in Portage, Indiana. And believe it or not, I'm going to call my father because he's still living. And he did a lot for me. And I hope everybody who has a father living, if you can catch your father as well, give him a hug. Tell him you love him. Because you only got one father. Just like I said on Mother's Day. There's nothing better than parents' love. But today, there's nothing more than father's love. Because fathers are the builders and the maintainers of the infrastructure for every community. And that's my commentary for this edition of the 401 Talk Zone radio show for this evening, Sunday, June 18th, 2017. You can tune into the 401 Talk Zone radio show every Saturday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio. Guest call-in number is 215-383-5785. If you like my videos, please share and subscribe to the 401 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube so I can continue to give you quality information for educational purposes from a professional and mature perspective. Now, on this channel, I don't engage in debating, controversy, or emotional issues, nor do I participate in drama or unnecessary bickering. Why? Because it's counterproductive. My channel is here to educate. And what I'm giving you from the information that I present, I'm doing the research, and I'm also giving you my own personal experiences. Because if you want to make it in the real world, you must have the tools that you can use. Now, the tools that I'm giving you are realistic but positive. Because if you don't have any type of education about the system, you're always going to struggle and you're going to fail. That's why I started doing YouTube, so I can give people who are interested in understanding the system a positive path so they can continue to strive for their goals. because it's very important to be successful. Why? Because having knowledge is power. And if you have a business, a topic, or a new YouTube channel that you would like for me to discuss on YouTube or Blog Talk Radio, please email me at lej6521@gmail.com. And if you have a comment, please leave your comment in the comment section under the video. But make sure that your comments are pithy. No bloviating, pettifogging, or filibustering if you wish to opine. Now that's it for this video. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. Remember, please be gentle and respectful to each other and have a wonderful and blessed night. Good night.